Hello peeps, welcome back to Plague Inc. Evolved. Today I shall be showing you how to beat the game with a brutal difficulty Parasite. So, first thing we want to look at is the genetic code. So, let's have a look at the modifiers. So, for your DNA gene, you should take a look at this one, Cytochrome Surge, which gives you more DNA from popping the orange bubbles. So we'll insert that one there. Next, your mutation gene. You want to get Genetic Mimic because you're playing on brutal difficulty. You want to make it harder to cure your plague. We'll insert that one. Travel gene. Parasite, which increases chance of plague spreading by land. Insert that one. Environment gene. Extremophile. I think that's probably going to be the case for most of these brutal difficulty. And last but not least, the evolution gene and symptostasis. So your symptoms costs don't increase but are easier to cure. So we'll have those. As I said in previous how-to videos for Plague Inc., if you haven't unlocked all of these yet, the way to do it is to win 25 games. So stick it on casual, beat a bunch of games, you'll unlock all these really quick. Okay, so as per usual, we're going to choose China as our starting population. You could also choose India, they're both good. But the main thing with China is that it's got 1.4 billion people living there, so it's a pretty good place to start. Okay, so let's have a look at the abilities for the Parasite. Now the key to this is symbiosis. Okay, so symbiosis helps keep your plague from being detected, which is key to winning in brutal difficulty. It doesn't stop it completely, but it does make it a lot more difficult, which is great. So when you are playing the game, you just don't want any tier 3 symptoms from evolving. So all the ones we have access to currently at the moment are okay, because you've got tier 1, which are the first ones you see here, and the white ones that are highlighted are tier 2, and anything around that is not too bad. But once you start getting into the sort of stuff that's slightly fatal or has a chance at being fatal, you need to devolve those as quickly as possible. Okay, so starting in China, and the first things you want to do is get Symbiosis 1, Symbiosis 2, and Symbiosis 3. Okay, so we've got Parasite infiltrates host brain, making it less likely to be noticed and more likely to be transmitted. So we've got a little bit of infectivity as a result. That costs about 20 DNA points, and that's the first thing you want to do. Okay, the second thing you want to do, although you don't have to do it in this order, this is just the way I prefer to do it, is to get your transmissions. You want to get air and water 1 as your first things to do, and then we'll look at symptoms in just a moment. Okay, so we have a few more points now, and the first symptoms you want to be looking at are cysts and this one, anemia. They don't cost very much at all to begin with, and because we took that DNA modifier at the start, it means that this symptoms will be quite cheap. Okay, so that's just step 1 all done. Air and water 1, cysts and anemia, and all 3 of the symbiosis. Okay, let's start the second step in this program. Air 2, 16 DNA points. We don't want to worry too much about symptoms. We're just going to see if we can get some free ones through mutation. We'll take cold resistance, and in a moment we'll also get drug resistance. Okay, so by this point, your map should look a little bit like this. Obviously, it's not going to be exactly like this, but it should be fairly similar. We'll take the drug resistance now, because we're getting into some of the richer countries. Unfortunately, I've not had any mutations as of yet. So we're going to let it play out for a little bit longer and see if we get a few free mutations. Okay, so we've moved into step 3. Let's get cold resistance 2 to make sure that we get into Greenland, Iceland, Canada, those pesky countries that always seem to just be the last ones holding on. We're not going to get any more transmissions for the time being, but what we will get is hypersensitivity, because rich regions are particularly vulnerable. And then what we'll do is we'll continue to let the other ones mutate. I did get some free abscesses, so that was nice. Okay, at this point, your map should begin to look a little bit like this. Now, it's literally just a case of kind of letting it ride out. Fortunately, as you can see, we've infected all of Iceland already and all of Greenland, which to do those two before like most of the other places is a rarity, shall we say. So as you can see, I'm racking up the DNA points. I've got 76 DNA points, and I'm just waiting for everyone in the world to get infected, and trying to get some free mutations along the way. Okay, so when your map looks a bit like this, if you're struggling to get, if you want to speed things up a bit, if you've got a lot of points like I have at the moment, you might want to purchase some of the tier 1 and tier 2 symptoms if you haven't already, just to kind of speed things up a little bit, because you don't really need this many points, and you're getting so many points from the orange DNA bubbles that you can afford to spend a few. So if we go into the symptoms menu here, you can see that I bought coughing, sneezing and pneumonia, just to kind of bump my infectivity up, just to kind of keep it going a bit, get it going a bit faster. So I'm going to get, what was that one? Nausea. I'm going to get vomiting as well. I had to devolve tumours because it was lethal and I didn't want to kill anyone off. So there we go. I've got a bit more infectivity there. I suppose if you really wanted to, you could also maybe check blood or any of these for transmissions, because most of these will increase the mutation chance as well. But that'll do for the time being. We don't want anything lethal until we've infected everyone in the world. If you want to speed things up a little bit further, because we've already got the cold resistance one, which enabled us to get some of the colder climate countries quite quickly, I'm struggling getting the African countries, so I'm going to pick up heat resistance, because I've got all this extra DNA points. So I'm going to pick up one of those, and we've got some free insomnia. And hopefully that will make it spread in Africa a little bit quicker than it has been, because it's been taking quite a long time to do that. Okay, so this is where we want to be. Do you want to get... This is where you want to save up all those points for. There are no healthy people left in the world. Earthworm Jim has infected everyone in the world. So this is when we unleash hell, basically. So, let's go into our symptoms menu. And we want to get paralysis. Thank you. And we'll get coma. Thank you. And we'll also get total organ failure. Thank you. Now, if you still have some points over, like I do, you might want to get internal hemorrhaging. And maybe hemorrhaging shock. And if you've even got more points, you can get necrosis as well, but I don't have enough points for that. But I think this amount of lethality should be good to start with. And here we go. First death in the USA. 9 million dead already. Okay, so we've racked up quite a few points just from killing off everyone. And they've started to work on a cure. So I'm going to get a genetic hardening. And I might even get a genetic reshuffle once they've got up to maybe 10-15% on the cure. Okay, so their cure is not very high. It's only about 12%. So I'm going to get one of those. I've still got 28 points, so I can, in a couple of... if I really need to, I can get the next genetic reshuffle in just a moment. But I don't think they're going to last very long. And here we go. That's pretty much the end for all those people. And that's how you beat the game with the Parasite on brutal difficulty. It's easy when you know how. Earthworm Jim is to destroy humanity. There we go. Thanks very much for watching. I hope this helps you out. I shall see you next time for more death and destruction on Plague Inc.